Good morning everyone, welcome to Flosstube. I'm just straightening you up, don't panic. My name is Kat, welcome to Cat Stitch, welcome to my channel. It is a channel pretty much mainly about cross stitch, although if I ever do anything else I will add that in, so there's a little bit of personal stuff as well sometimes. Today is Saturday the 14th of January 2023. I've been playing with my phone, I'm trying to work out which end am I supposed to look at and I can't quite remember where the camera is. I think it's that end. Am I looking at you now? Am I looking at you in the eye? Because there's a high chance I'm going to stop doing that, but I'll try and remember where the camera is. Okay, so as I was saying, that's a lot of twaddle, isn't it? Okay, 43 seconds in and I haven't even started. Okay, so today is Saturday, the 14th of January 2023, and this is Flosstube number 27. Right, I think. Yes, I'm sure it is. Okay, so for those of you that are coming to stop by for the first time, it was a bit of a train wreck of an opening, but there you go. You know, what you see is what you get. I don't do a lot in the way of editing. Sometimes I waffle, but it is mainly about cross stitch. And, you know, welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me. I do appreciate it a lot. And you know, if you like what you see, then make sure that you do all the things, just subscribe and like and all the hoo-ha stuff, you know. Anyway, one thing I will say, if you're anything like me, when I find a floss tuber and I enjoy the episode that I'm seeing, I go right back to the beginning. I wouldn't really advise that. Total train wreck for at least the first, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 episodes. Total train wreck. Which is why I'm sort of surprised that people that have been there since the beginning are still with me. And as for those people that are coming back again, thank you guys so much for joining me again. I do appreciate it. So how has the start of 2023 treated you? I don't watch the news, so I tend to sort of pick up stuff as I brushed my hair and that's gone pretty annoying. So yeah, so apart from the hair issues, how's your 2023 treating you? As you can see, I've got Bobby here with me. Here's Bobby. Yes, there's Bobby. That's my boy. So, you know, Bobby's here joining me for 2023. Oh, there we go. Yes, that's right. You sit up and you show all the people how gorgeous you are. Yes, you big spoon. Bobby McGee, for those that are new, and look, you're tilted now. See, I shouldn't have played with the camera. That'll teach me. He is 6.5 years old. Yes, he is. He's an Australian Terrier Shih Tzu. He's a little grumpy because he's on a diet. Because he's a little bit of a barrel, in all honesty. But he's a loving barrel. Yes, you are. Yes. Yes, you are. You're my barrel. Okay. So, yeah. So, so Bobby will show up occasionally. And occasionally, for those that are new, Shadow Monkey. He's my black cat. He's actually more of a chocolate brown. Can I just say, when the light hits him, it looks more like a chocolatey brown, but that's because he's got longer hair. The undergrowth is quite black, but the tips are all like a chocolate brown. Yeah, so anyway, now that's enough of the waffle cat. Come on, get on with it. Crikey. Okay, so for those of you that have come back, thanks guys. Welcome back to another series of train wrecks. Who knows what this year's going to bring. There are some changes, obviously. You know, when I first started really getting into stitching, which was through lockdown. I mean, I've been stitching before that, but more focused on it. And I got to discover all these incredible designers and fabric dyers and all these other threads that I didn't know about, and all that sort of thing, which you do when you get into social media with your craft. Originally, pretty much all I stitched was Halloween, but last year, near the end of last year, I started expanding and trying different genres and a lot of new designers for me that have been around for eons, and this year's going to be no different. I really am trying to mix it up, although having said that, I did say I'm going to be doing less Halloween, and the first 3 projects I was working on, or out of the 4 projects that I was working on in the first week of January, 3 of them were Halloween-y themed. You know, small steps, small steps. But anyway, so let's get on with this. And what's on the board today? Today we have got, yeah, some finishes. You know, I always like to try and do a finish on the first. You know, usually a small finish, just something small. So something started and finished on the first is what I want to try and do. Did that, and then I did another couple because, you know. I've also got a few new starts, and I've also worked on a few of my whips. I've got a little bit of haul and stitchy kindness. Actually, it's more stitchy kindness rather than haul, which is really lovely. And I've also got some fabric that I dyed. I did a little bit of an experiment one day. Because I've got a whole bunch of powder dye. I mean, when I've previously dyed, it's always been, you know, the liquid dye. But I'd also sort of, you know, managed to amass. I was trying to sort of just shorten that whole sentence down. Managed to amass a bunch of powdered dyes. I'm just going to move the camera and just sort of, because I'm just worried it's going to fall over. So I'm just, you guys all right? I haven't moved you too much. All right, I'm just, hang on a second. I'm just going to pause you. Hang on. Okay, did I pause? I did pause. Oh, look, that's so good. I thought I pushed the wrong button for a minute. Anyway, so yeah, so I wanted to, you know, give that a go. So I'm going to be doing the Stitchy Kindness and my fabric dyeing, showing that at the end. Okay. Right, so let's get into this. Let's have a look at the finishes. So last year in, I think it was September, I started this one. On the Halloween Facebook page that I do talk about a lot, we were doing a Wild Violet sale. So the designer, Wild Violet, I think it's Rianne, does some beautiful designs, and there's heaps of them. So, you know, and not just Halloween-y, she does do other ones as well. But we were doing a Wild Violet sale where, you know, you started any of your projects, and it was over, I think it was like over 6 months, or was it 3 months? 4 months. I know it was over months, you know, and I, as you would have seen last year, I did a few. I did do a few of her designs. There we go. This is one of her ones, and I think my daughter's got the other. Oh no! So this one is Wicked Winds, and this one is Moonlit Cat. Oh, and Autumn Garden. So those are by Wild Violet, which I've already done. And I think my daughter's nicked off with the other ones. I'm just noticing, it's like, hang on, where's the other ones gone? Yeah. So, and I really did, you know, love the designs. Now, I don't have like a favourite, all-time favourite movie, but I do have a selection, and one of them is Hocus Pocus. And no, I still haven't seen number 2. But it's only because I don't have the right TV channels. And so, you know, I love doing my Sanderson sister style things when I get an opportunity. So like this sort of thing. And I've got another one up higher, not within reach. So I'm just going to ignore that. And so when she released, you know, when she did Hocus Pocus the house, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that. Now, it is what I call a shadow one, or a monotone. So it's all one colour, except... no, it's not. This is what the original looks like. There we go. And this is where I was at the beginning of the year when I was doing my whip parade. I took a photo of all of them so I could see where I was on the 1st of January, basically. And so this is the finished product now after all that waffle. So here we go. Now, as you can see, I did make a few changes, just a couple, you know, because that's what I do. So instead of using the orange for around the border and stuff like that, I used candy corn. And I think, is that Weeks? I think it's Weeks, I think. All of the black is with the black étoile, the DMC 310, but it's étoile version. And look at the little cat in the window. And instead of using purple, I used Society Life by Threadworks, which is that lovely red and purple. I just sort of thought that, you know, adds a bit something different. And then I used variegated for the dark brown and the light brown. So you know, apart from the black, I changed all the other colours because, you know, cat does that. But no, I'm really, really happy with that. So that, I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to make it into a really cool, funky little pillow. Well, not so little pillow. Or, you know, a flat finish. It is stitched on Haunted Mansion by Live and Die in LA. Really cool. Love that purple fabric. So on the 1st of January, I started and finished this one. I sort of thought, you know, I want to start doing a few seasonal ones when I can, and I want to do them all the small ones because I want to make them into ornaments so that I can, you know, maybe have a... I haven't been able to find something like a dough bowl. Oh, the words today. Dough bowl over here, but I have, you know, I've got a couple of little baskets, and so I'm going to be using those, and I want to make like a, you know, a basket that's going to be a seasonal basket. So, you know, spring, autumn, summer, winter. So I want to start doing, you know, some seasonal smalls. Now, last year, I did 2 of Lizzie Kate's seasonal smalls. So it's called, the design is called Spring Smalls, and these got 4 designs in them, and these are 2 of them. So there's Spring and Buzz, which I've finished, and then there were 2 more left to do. So one of them was Bunny, which is this one, and the other one was Bloom, and they're supposed to be little buttons in the flowers, but honestly, even my beading needle wouldn't fit through the holes of the buttons, so they're not on there. And I, you know, used my own colours as usual. So I am trying to stitch from stash as much as possible. So a lot of my colours are a bit different. Now this is one of the new ones that I got from Judy, the fabric. It's 14 count Ada. But it's one of the new pieces that I got, and I can't remember the name, and I forgot to write it down. Hang on. Look. Here we go. Now I don't have stickers, so it's pretty ratty, and I scribble and stuff like that. But down the side I have a list of all my whips, and then if I work on it that month, I put a tick next to it. Let's see. It's on Jody Ree Ice Dances. So yeah, so I have, you know, I've actually been really, really good, and I've actually noted in it every single night, which honestly is an unusual thing for me, because I've tried using diaries and journals and stuff like that in the past, and 2 or 3 days rocking, and then if it does get picked up again, it's usually months later. So proud of myself for actually writing it 2 weeks in a row, you know, 2 full weeks so far. Well, apart from today, but I've even got Flosstube noted down already. So strictly speaking, 2 weeks. My weeks are going from Sunday to Saturday, which works out really well, and that's the same with my counting as well, which I'll talk about in a moment. The other one that I started and finished was a freebie from the Witchy Stitcher, and you can get it on her website, which I'll put down below. It's called, I have missed out on one of the hearts up the top. I decided not to, because it was just going to leave extra blank space, and I didn't want that when I turn it into a stand-up, which I probably will. It's called Lily and Herman Munster, and it's a nice little Valentine-y sort of one, I suppose, if you want to get ahead for Valentine's. So that's them there. Again, I just went with what colours I had. What I tend to do when I'm switching out colours is not so much, I look at what the actual finished product is supposed to look like, and then I pick my colours based on that. So, oh, we need a pink, so I'll go, we need 2 pinks, so I'll go and pick 2 pinks. And that sort of thing. So there they are. I really love, really love this. And then because I had enough fabric, I've got a new start on the other side. And the fabric is, it's called Christmas Garland, 14 count by Jody Ree. So it's Christmas Garland fabric that it's on. See, I mean, I do remember when I was showing all the Christmas ones, when I got them, when I got the Advent in 21, that a lot of the Christmas ones will so suit what I'm stitching, regardless of the fact it's apparently designed for Christmas. Right, so so those were my finishes. And then my new starts, actually I'll do them in order of when I started them, if I can. No, I won't. We're not doing that. Don't be stupid, cat. So this one is one of the Bittersweet. Oh, yep, it's gonna be an issue. Bittersweet Trio. It's the Fox by Waxing Moon Designs. So it's this one here, the little fox. I have made a bit of a start. I decided, because quite often I will do the centre and then I'll do the border, but I hate doing borders. So I'm going to try something different this year and do the borders first where possible. So all I've really done is gotten most of the way around the border, and then I got bored doing the border, so I started doing one of the leaves. So there we go. So that's where I'm up to, and that's on the same fabric as Herman and Lily. So it's a start, and yeah, choosing my own colours as usual. Okay, so that was started in week 1, and then you're going to be hearing zips. I know that's unusual. I just decided not to pull everything out so that I could put everything back, so it's a little bit quicker to tidy up. So this is a whip. It's in my little notions bag. These are all from Judith. Actually, all the bags I'm using today from Judith. Yeah, so all the bags you'll be seeing today from Judith. So this is Halloween Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. This is what the original design looks like. Now I started this in October last year, and this is where I was up to when you last saw it on the 31st. And I think I might need the board for this. Just give me a second. It's underneath everything else. I should have thought about that. There we go. So that's where it was up to. And there we are now. And this has been stitched on a piece of 14 count Ada, which I dyed. I jar dyed. It's probably close to what the colour actually is. Right there. So I'm really happy with that. So basically I finished off the bird and got the outline of the carriage done. And added the hat up the top. Just about missed the hat. So yeah, so I was happy with that. Good progress on that one. I think there's about, I have a look at my notes. So I worked on it on the 2nd, and I put 1125 stitches in, and then this Monday I put 865. So there's around about 2,000 stitches added to that one, give or take. I'm not going to have exact figures for you today. I'll have to approximate it because I didn't add everything up for this week. Right, so that's going to go, yeah, it's carrying on in January. this one, look at this, with a beautiful dragonfly charm, is my Halloween Quaker. This was a new start. It is by Jardin Prive, so it's my first one of these, I think. And this is what the design is going to look like at the end. Except I'm not doing it monotone, because, you know, get it around the right way, cat. So this is where I'm at. So the white is the glow in the dark, the black is Etoile, and if you have a look, it's actually a blue, like multiple blue tone. That is Deepest Night by Judy Redesigns, which is one of my favourite threads from her. Yeah, I'm really having fun doing this. This is like my first, apart from, you know, bits and pieces on, you know, like a Quaker motif on something else. This is the first one I've actually like done where a lot of it's Quaker. And I'm really liking it. I'm liking how symmetrical each of the designs are. So if it's this way, this up here, then it's the same way in reverse down here. Mindless. I mean, you still have to think about it, obviously. So I've still got, like, there's a house to go here and stuff like that. The thing that I'm having issues with is trying to work out what colours I'm going to use, because I do have a dark grey, which is the Threadworks 11212, which is my favourite grey, because it's a dark, slightly variegated. And I was trying to decide whether I was going to do the pumpkins that are on here in like an autumny browny tone, or I'm going to do it in the grey. And I've leant more towards the grey. So there will be more added onto this in the next 2 weeks, because that's going back into my continue with pile. And that's just because of the challenges that I'm doing and things like that, as to which ones, you know, I'm aiming to sort of finish them basically this month. So that's the Halloween delivery and Halloween Quaker. I'm wanting to finish both of those this month. Right, so Halloween Quaker. Has had a total of, again, about 2,000 stitches between the three nights working on it. So that's pretty good. Next, in this lovely bag here with a gorgeous, very autumn bag, you know, is my, yeah, Chester's Place. Now, I had only just started this, so this is where I was when you last saw it. It was my sort of one of my end of year starts in that last week, where I don't know why, but I just suddenly felt like I need to start a whole bunch of things to take into New Year. I don't know why. So that's where I was on the 31st, and this is where I'm at now. Actually, sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so hands and thumbs today. Fingers and thumbs even. Okay, so this is where I'm up to now. And again, choosing my own colours. I mean, I'm switching out a few. And that sort of thing, just so that, you know, they're just what I had on hand. I didn't want to order anything if I could, you know, get away with it. So that's where I'm up to now. Happy with that progress on Chester's Place. And it's going to stay out this month. Again, it's another one that would be cool if I can get it finished this month. So my idea is if I can try and finish, you know, 2 of my whips each month, maybe 3, that'd be a good thing. As well as adding in some new ones, because, you know, we do. This one here is my Sunday stitch. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you should have heard about Teresa Littlestitcher, the sale she's doing. Teresa Made Me Do It sale. I thought it was going to be called the Fancy Lady sale, but no, it's called Teresa Made Me Do It sale. And it's basically working on any fancy lady, fancy man, fancy couple, fancy, you know, person. It can be a Hygge, it can be a Mirabilia, it can be a Nora Corbett, it can be a Bella Filipina, a Joan Elliott, you know, any that are those beautiful, stylish people, and that sort of thing. And I had been waiting and waiting to start Miss Spider. I just been a starter. Miss Spider by Nora Corbett. That was my pick. And I had her ready to start in December. And it was like, because I knew that this event was coming up. And so I was holding off. And it was so hard. So I was really, really happy to start this on the 1st. So this is my New Year's Day start. And it's my Sunday stitch. So this is the one that will get picked up each Sunday. And this is where I'm up to now. So it's interesting how the colours do look different than obviously on the picture, you know. They look quite like that sort of part there looks quite sort of bright, like a really, really pale, but those are actually the colours that are called for. I'm using for there. The only changes I've made is for the 310 and the 3799. I've made them the E12 version, so there's a bit more sparkle because, you know, we need that. This fabric is the DMC fabric, which is the painted sort of DMC marble fabric, and it's mint, which I just sort of thought would be really cool for her to go on. So that's my Miss Spider, and she's had over 2,000 stitches. I think it's about 2,300, because day one I did, oh, maybe not that many, hang on. Oh no, she's only had about 1,700 stitches only. So she's had about 1,700 stitches over here, over the 2 Sundays so far. So I'm hoping to have the stitching of her finished by the end of this month. And then next month, her and my Bellatrix will be getting beaded. Well, I'll be on the Sundays, it'll be beading day until both of the girls are complete. My dad's one that I'm doing for my dad is the Teresa Littlestitcher Remember Me. I didn't really get much done at all. I did do a length of thread. So, you know, little bits at a time. But I do want to try and pull it out more often, so I'm going to keep it out. So that's where I'm up to now. So I should have said, and this is where I was. So what I did was I'm starting to fill in the flower here. It's getting stitched on 25 count 1/1. This is why I got cream, I think, or ivory. It's got, you know, it's got the fancy floss known as monkey's hair on it. But yeah, so it's going to be a very long-term project, because every time I'm stitching on it, I do get a little bit emotional. So I can only one length of thread, because that's, you know, that's for my dad. Hopefully, it will start going a little faster as I'm not going to say dissociate from it, but as time goes on, it will get done. But I regard this one as a long-term project. And then the last one that I worked on was this very cool bag. One that I'm definitely going to be getting back to today, because I really do love this design. It's I'm a Stitcher by My Big Toe. The second one of these that I'm doing. And there's a few more that I want to do as well, because they're just absolutely fantastic. So this is where I was before. And here we are now. It is a really fun stitch. I've switched out a few colours at the top, you know, for the colours and stuff, because, you know, I wasn't going to go and buy a whole skein just for, you know, not needing that many for the stitching. So I just chose similar sort of colouring that I had in my stash. And this is getting stitched on another of the DMC 14 count marble type ones, you know, the ones that aren't on both sides, so it's painted on one side, and this is I think it's actually just called marble. It's the greyish one. So yeah, loving this. This is, I have a lot of fun. I never thought I would enjoy stitching words and letters as much. I mean, I'm still not, you know, keen on doing a whole bunch of ruddy alphabets, but even those will probably make an appearance this year, just giving you a heads up. Okay, so those are my whips, my finishes. Just got to double check. Ha, yeah, you go in there. Whew. I was thinking, where's the bag for that one? Okay, right, so those ones are going back into my room. Right, so let's get on to what I dyed. Now this, it's actually, it's got a slight pinkish tinge. This was a piece of 14 count opal, and I had a little bit of an issue because I went and dripped on it with one of the other ones, which I'm really bugged about, but it's okay. I'll work around it. There's still enough of it. So this is a 14 count opal. It was white opal with the silver flecks, and it's the first time I've done tea dyeing. I used, what did I use? Blood orange tea, and this is it. So it's got sort of a, it'd be really hard to get the colour because there is a slight pinky tone to it rather than, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there is a slight pinkish tone to it, which I really like. It's very, very subtle. But as you can see, some drips of other colours went on it. But that's okay. I'll work around it. This sort of thing will probably get used for like little ornaments anyway, so I can fit around the stones. So there's that one. Now that bologna, that I've got that green one that I got a heap of. I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do with all that green, because I can't say it's the most attractive looking green, you know. If I've got a photo, I'll insert it here. So that, you know, so it was a green to start with, and then I used the Rit powder dye. Was it Rit? I think it was Rit coffee, and I got this beautiful brown, which I actually quite like. A good amount of mottling, so not too much, but you know, so I'm really happy with that one. Oh, just, yeah, that orange that was from my Halloween Quaker, that was the other one that I was doing the same day. And then I used another bit of the bologna, and I added denim blue to this one, and I'm really happy with that one. So it's going to get some Christmas themed ones. It might actually get my Waxing Moon Winter on it, but then that will mean that I'm going to have to do the other seasons all on 22 count. So I'm going to think about that, but that might do it. And then this one, I don't know why, but I've got a big piece of 11 count Ada. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, but I halved what I had, and I decided to dye it, and this is just with it just said purple on the container that I've got everything in. And so that's that one. So I'm sure that I will make use of it somehow, whether it's making an ornament bigger or whatever. But yeah, so those are what I dyed. And then on to Stitchy Kindness. Now, as you will see with my bags, I get the majority of my bags from Judith. She is my bag guru. And she had gone over to the States last year. As I think I mentioned in one of my previous Flosstubes, she'd gone over to the States. And some banging going on outside. Bobby doesn't like it. And she came back with a wonderful surprise for me, which I really hadn't expected. And I've left one of them in the other room. So one of them was this. How happy am I? I'm so excited because it's the only one I was missing. Well, apart from the Valentine one, but you know, Valentine's sucks. So yeah, so really happy I've got Halloween Town. So I'm like, so I'm gonna try and maybe think of maybe doing a drum sal. For those that have thought about it, never done it, it's a bit scary, the first one. My first one, oh, my mum's got my first one. So this is my second one. So yeah, so this is my second one that I made out of a long design that I had, and I thought, well, instead of putting it into a long frame, let's turn it into a drum and let's see how we go. And you know, they are actually really fun to make. They take one hell of a lot of stuffing and filling, can I just say, a lot more than any of my pillows do. But they are, you know, they are really fun to make. So I'm thinking of doing a drum sal. It doesn't have to be the tiny towns. It can be anything that you can turn into a drum. And if you want to join in, just let me know. What do you think? Do you think I should, you know, I mean, I think it'd be really cool. Because we all talk about stitching and what we're going to start and all that sort of stuff. But maybe we can do a sal, you know, a foul, a finish along. Or something, I don't know. Just to sort of encourage you to finish some of the ones that you start. So the first one I'm going to be doing towards my sal or foul, whatever, is going to be Halloween Tiny Town. Now the other things she brought back, we don't get a lot of, you know, fancy. Oh, actually, I'll do the pencil first. This pencil had me giggling. It's from emmamakes.com, but she brought this back for me. Are you 3D for this? Isn't that giggle? You know, it's dad humour. Dad humour, but it's really cute. So that's from emmamakes.com. And then she also brought me back this gorgeous piece of fabric from Silk Weaver Fabrics. It's Ada 14 count, and it is so cool. And it's not that, you know, I've never seen anything like that over here. I do see other people using these really funky fabrics on other floss tubes, and I'm just like, oh, look at this. Bats! It's Betty. It's Betty, and it's really cool. And I keep on thinking of designs to put on it, but then I'm thinking, oh yeah, but what if a better design comes along? And so I'm almost hoarding this because I want the perfect one to go on it. If you've got any suggestions, note them down below. Let me know what you think would look really cool on this, because I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed and I'm worried that I'm never going to end up using it because I just won't be able to make up my mind. So there was that. And then again, we don't get the very funky looking decorative pins that you guys get in the States or overseas. And she brought me back little cauldrons. Isn't that just me? That is so me. Sorry about my nails, I was doing some cleaning. Isn't that just me? Little cauldrons. And it is the Pink Dragonfly crafts, handcrafted by Raquel. So that's the little box that they came in. Aren't they gorgeous? I was, OMG, I was just so surprised. So thank you so much, Judith, for all these lovely goodies. They, you know, I have sent her a message already, but they, I don't really get stitchy stuff given to me, so not very often. So thank you so much. They do mean a lot. And then, you know, Judith was doing, now Judith does a lot of fundraising for Outpoured, which is a local cat rescue group. And you know, she makes lots of bags for me, and I've brought a lot of bags from Judith to go towards Outpoured and that sort of stuff. But she's also doing other fundraising for personal reasons, and one of them is breast cancer, which is important to all of us. We've all got mums and all that sort of thing. And so she posted up Fight Like a Girl in a couple of colourways, and so of course I brought two, because, you know. So this is one of them, which I haven't put anything in yet because I had all my goodies in it. So there's one, and it's got the really cool little Fight Like a Girl. Here we go, it's a bit of a picture of it. So there's that colourway. And then there's this colourway. So I've got both colourways. Well, there's actually another one, but I only got the two. And inside, oh, if I can get my fingers in there, beautiful breast cancer fabric with the ribbons as well. So I haven't got anything assigned for that one yet. Trust me, well, we have something in it. But this one is part of my plans. Oh, and this one has a slightly different fabric, if you can see. So it's got the pink ribbons. Now, I'm not sure if you've watched her already, but go and check out Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. She's turning 60 at the end of this year, and so she's got a challenge of doing 60 starts for turning 60. So I'm sure Beth will do well. You know, she's very organised. I think last I saw she had like about 48 already picked out and kitted up, ready to go. So she's got a little window to add a few more, because you know there's always new ones coming out, and we just want to do all of them. And she had, you know, she's already doing a few stitch alongs with others as part of this, so that some of her new starts others are going to join in and do. So she actually said, you know, if any of my whips, you know, the planned starts, you know, you want to join in, let me know and we can start a sale. And so that's what we're actually doing, because she had a few on her list that I've got planned for this year. So I said, well, these are all the ones I'm going to be doing that's on your list. So any of those, and Beth was lovely and she replied back. And we are going to be starting Teresa Littlestitcher, this small sampler. Now, Beth has her copy from one of the books that Teresa does. I can't remember the name of it, so go and check out Beth's latest one. I think it's where she's already stitched two of them, so it's her first one, I think, for this year. And she'll show you the book that she gets out of. When I was a Patreon, I actually bought this in the Patreon shop, the secret shop, because I was wanting to expand more into samplers and things like that, but I didn't want to do all the alphabet ones. And this one doesn't have an alphabet. And it's got cute characters. And yeah, so I sort of thought, oh, and so we are starting it on February 1st. So if you want to join in this little sampler sale, I'll put the info down below. Please do let me know. Would love to sort of see how you guys do with this one. It's not overly big, as you can see. It's like 140 by 81, I think it is. Now I've kitted it up. This is how I kit up, okay? I've kitted up with the called for DMC threads, and then I've gone through my overdyes and sort of matched up to sort of see if I feel like changing. This is one I'll be changing to. So these are the colours that I've got. So it's a mixture of DMC, Classic Colourworks, Gentle Arts, and so I've got like alternatives to them. So 167 is that one, and then is an alternative. Oh no, wrong one. Here we go. Try this one. I haven't got an alternative to 167. So 612 is an alternative. I've picked out Fool's Gold. So you can see what I mean about, it's not going to be exactly the same, because I tend to do this quite a lot. For 729, switching it out for Ginger Snap. It says Ginger Snap at the top. Fool's. So again, it will depend on, as I'm stitching, whether I choose to switch out or not. But I wanted to have the option there. For 3031, looking at Pecan Pie. So 3031 down the bottom, switching it out for the slightly lighter one maybe. Instead of 3362, I don't have it, so I'm using 3363. That's fine. Or I'm going to switch it out for Desert Mesquite, which I think, I'm trying to remember which one it is. Oops. So there's Desert Mesquite down the bottom. And then 3777 may get switched out for KN, Weeks Dye Works KN. So Weeks is down the bottom. So it's pretty close, it's pretty good. And then 3830, this is where it's quite a difference, is Ripple. So again, it will depend, so Ripple's at the top there. It will depend on where it goes as to whether I use it or switch it out. So I just made my little tag charm. And then the fabric, I was dithering so much over the fabric because I got it down to four fabrics. And I was trying to decide, am I going to do this on an 18 count or a 14 count? And then I sort of thought, no, I've already got a couple of the higher count ones as whips. I don't want to add more of them because they do take me a lot longer. I can only sort of stitch on them a short amount of time, even with my magnifier, before I need to sort of, you know, put it away again. So I didn't want another one that's going to be like that. So instead, get the fluff off it, Cat, I am using the Vintage Marble 14 count Ada. So it's got a slight, you see the mottling? Oh, there's a little bit of mottling you can see. So there we go. So that's what I'm going to have it on. So if I get the threads, so they'll all show beautifully up on it. And that was the thing, the lighter coloured threads, like the called for ones, on a couple of the other ones, I was worried that once I stitched, they'd blend in. And I didn't want that. So yeah, so that's what I've chosen, and that's going to be starting on February 1st. I just have to stop myself starting it earlier because that's the thing. Once I kit up a project, I usually kit up a project just before I'm going to do it. So to kit up in advance, it's very hard for me not to do it. So yeah, so I've got that in my Fight Like a Girl. Okay, so done that. Yeah. Okay. Right, so my goal this year, because I've been, you know, obviously, you know, we're into January now and things like that. My goal is to try and keep up with this is one thing, but I want to try and target, instead of the amount of projects, I want to focus on stitches. So it's actually quite relaxing once I've finished stitching for the day to sort of sit there and count up my stitches. You know, looking at the pattern and counting them up. And when I'm using Pattern Keeper, even easier. But unfortunately not all of them work on Pattern Keeper. So, you know, that's part of, it's starting to become part of my routine is, you know, when I pack up all the, you know, pack up everything, I just grab the pattern and I start noting down, you know, counting. And it's actually, it's almost like counting sheep. It's quite relaxing. And so, yeah. So I was really, really happy with that. Oh, my Hocus Pocus finish, just so you know, from when I picked it up again, I did about 2,300 stitches to finish it. It's pretty good. So week 1, I did 8,030 stitches. Keep in mind, all right, I wasn't working for most of it, so I had a lot of time to stitch. And this week so far I've done just under 5,000. So my goal is to try and do 5,000 stitches a week, because now I'm back at work. This is actually, although I you know, we still had a couple of days off, or we had a day off. Did I? No, we're back at work. Oh my god, I'm already losing track of what I'm doing. So yeah, so my goal is to try and do about 5,000 a week. My ultimate goal for the year is between 200 and 250,000. 200 is the first goal, 225 is the second goal, 250 is the third goal. So if I can do on average around about 5,000 a week, the 250 is doable. But I'm giving myself some leeway and some grace to have non-stitchy mojo weeks. or days, or, you know, stuff like that, so it doesn't add any pressure. I'm pretty much going to stitch whatever I feel like stitching. I might focus and become very monogamous on a couple of them, which is what I'm doing this month with those ones. So you'll see them again, hopefully finished, if not finished, then really close to finish, at the end of the month. Plus I'll grab out another one or two, because like I said, I've got 22, because I finished Hocus Pocus. So if I can, and I've worked on 2, 4, 7 of the whips, 8 of the whips. So, you know, if I can finish half of the ones that I've worked on in the month, and then get another 4 or whatever next month. But I am also going to be working on starting to do like the words, like this is something I want to start. It's on my list of things to start in the next fortnight, which is Winter by Waxing Moon Designs. I've been trying to work out which one I'm going to do, whether it was Cricket Collection or Waxing Moon. And Cricket Collection ones are beautiful and that sort of thing, but I'm leaning more towards Waxing Moon Designs. Probably going to be a little quicker, and that's the thing. I don't want a whole heap of ones that are going to be long term, because I don't have the attention span to do that. So yeah. So this, yeah, so far this year I've done just under, actually no, about 1,300 stitches. Or just under 1,300 stitches. By the end of today, I would have hit my 5,000 for this week. So, yeah, so it'll be 13,000 stitches in the first 2 weeks. So I'm happy about that. I think that's pretty good. Plans for the next 2 weeks, carrying on with Miss Spider, carrying on with Halloween Delivery, because I'm using that as my January Jacks entry for on the Halloween Facebook page. I'll be working on my I'm a Stitcher and Chester's Place, because those ones just bring me joy. Try and finish I'm a Stitcher. I don't know if I might be able to finish Chester's Place as well. I'm not going to pressure it. I'm just going to, you know, do what I can. And I want to keep working on Halloween Quaker as well, because I'm really, really having fun with that one. So, and to do more on the Fox too. And to try and do another thread on my dad's one. Okay, so this has been longer than I expected it to be, and I do apologise. But I also wanted to do a couple of shout outs, because I did watch a little. I have been trying to catch up on my Flosstube this week. Okay, so obviously Beth, Steadfast Stitch, I already told you about Beth's. Honestly, go and check her out. The array that she's going to be doing. So if you don't know already, go back a couple of episodes and she's going to show you the ones that she's picked out so far for her starts for this year. Really cool range of designs. Lots of birds, but there's a cool range of designs. Kels Stitches over in Aussie. It's good to see Kel back. She had a finish of a beautiful stocking. It was absolutely gorgeous. I'd like to try and do a stocking this year. I don't have a problem stitching it. I just have no idea how I'm supposed to finish it. So, I mean, even looking at the things on you know, Flosstube and stuff like that, or on YouTube, I need to have someone take me through it. So maybe later this year. And oh, Kel, if you do watch this, I'm a tourist that loves the beach as well. You know, I'm most at peace when I'm near the beach. So yeah, we're odd. That's fine. Also caught up watching Judy, which is an Aussie in a Kiwi world, and Nicole, North Island Stitcher. Love watching those. Watched Brenda and Nora from Brenda and the Cereal Starter. Now it's Brenda's birthday. I think it's actually, is it next week? But there's a big going to be a stitch along or start along or whatever to celebrate Brenda's 60th birthday, go and check out their Flosstube. You'll hear it mentioned everywhere. Sarah has mentioned it on Sarah's Stitchy Spot, which is another one that I caught up with because I love watching Sarah. Yeah, so it is getting mentioned everywhere. It is a beautiful design. I thought I'd make it all the way through, but no, going. Lemon water, it's good. Beautiful design. So if you're interested in doing it, go and check out Brenda and Nora's Flosstube if you haven't already seen it. Yeah, lovely. So happy birthday to Brenda as well. Michelle, Mama loves you GB. I had been catching up on all the Flossmas sort of thing, so I haven't caught up completely yet, but there has been a few new things added to my list of look out for. Added to my wish list. It's like, oh, talk about enabling watching Flossmas. The Hygge Stitcher, did I say that right? Great. She had another you know, showing her beautiful finishes and whips and things like that. Whip parade. It has been interesting watching all the whip parades and what things, because I watched them the previous Christmas, you know, and New Year. And I sort of skip over a lot. None of them really grabbed me, but this year my list has grown about charts to look out for and possible future plans. And then of course Kitchywips, because you know, who doesn't love Kitchywips? And there were others as well. I have watched a few others. There's a few new ones. I know. I haven't noted them down though, so I haven't noted this week's viewing down, because I did most of my viewing on Saturday and Sunday sort of thing, and so I was jotting them down in my diary, in my notebooks, and it's right next to me. But I haven't really watched anything this week. I've been busy watching Reacher and Jack Ryan and, you know, not Flosstube. And also listening to, if you are interested in podcasts and you like crime and things like that, Bailey Sarian, I'll put her info down below. She does 2 of them. So there's Dark History, which I really enjoy, and it's quite interesting and it's quite thought-provoking, and that sort of thing, about just interesting things, really. And then there's Murder Makeup Monday. So on Mondays she does podcasts and she's doing her makeup and she's telling you about, you know, these crimes and that sort of thing. So there's podcasts and there's also the YouTube videos for it as well. So I've been binging on that this week. I don't know why. I just felt like having to watch it. But there we go. So this is probably going to be just over an hour by the time I add the bits and pieces on, and, you know, at the end and the beginning. I'm so sorry. But thank you guys so much for stopping on by. I'll be back again in 2 weeks. So remember, wherever you are, if you're hot, keep cool. If you're cool, please keep warm. Lots of fluids and just, you know, don't go out if you don't have to. And remember, march to the beat of your own drum, because that's where the magic happens. Toodles. Thank you.